all this we're working on playing a certain way. All these guys are there for short periods to go back to the clubs, wherever that is. You can only work to a certain extent when you're at your club team. Kasey mentioned Guardiola, there are others. Day in, day out, they're trying to figure that out. You're a few days with the national team, and then you go off and you play in a 4-4-2 or a diamond or a 3 at the back or whatever. And so you've got to figure out, there's no point trying to say as a national team, this is the way we're going to play. Well, and it won't change.
Correct. There's a prime example of that. If you look at the way Zach Steffen has started for Fortuna Düsseldorf, Fortuna Düsseldorf is going to be very happy to finish one spot ahead of the relegation zone. Right? They know that they're not going to be able to play like that in the Bundesliga if they think that they're going to. So they're making it very simple for Zach Steffen. We're going to take no risk. We're going to hit the ball here. Yes, if it's on, of course, play it out of the back. But under pressure, we can't afford to give up goals because we know in this circumstance, we're not going to be able to outscore our opponents if a mistake is made.
Yep.
And he was forced to play some balls that he shouldn't have been forced to play.
We shouldn't forget, it doesn't matter what era you played in. There are certain things that applied right at the very start and still do today. And that is the right. You have to win the right to play. You can't expect to walk on the field and start stroking the ball around your own penalty box and think the opposition are just going to stand back.
Yeah.
Yes, you start and you try. And if it doesn't work, then you change. You push them back somehow. And then you try and play again. And then it's cat and mouse, cat and mouse. So that has never changed. You have to earn the right to play.
Here we have a new manager who, and they're having a hard time at the moment. And I know there are some younger players there, and I understand that. However, here we have a guy who is going to start running out of excuses because only the real dumb ones out there, the real dumb ones, and there are plenty of those, that are buying into behind the scenes we're working on stuff and it's coming into place and we're putting the bricks in place and building the foundations. That's nonsense. That is just trying to buy yourself time. That's the BS baffles, he loves this saying, what was it? The BS baffles brains brigade. Right, that's all that is. Yeah. And only those out there that think soccer is the same as an NFL game when it comes to tactics are completely wrong. Right? It's absolutely nothing like it. It's quite a simple game made difficult by dummies.
Right.
And I think there's going to become a time where I think he's going to be trying to overcomplicate it with guys that are not anywhere near ready to do that. And then he's going to have to go back, or he's in trouble, he's going to have to go back to basics to try and get results.
We'll go back to the conversation we had about Scotland and Northern Ireland. In that situation, Northern Ireland understands the players they have, the situation they're in against certain clubs, against certain nations.
Yeah.
And you can't play a particular way against some of those nations or you're going to get ripped apart. Now, I'd love for the U.S. to have the Belgian squad right now to be able to play however the heck I want to play. Because look at the team I have on the field. Well, look at France. Look at this. Yeah, look, you need to adjust to us. We're not adjusting to anybody. But no, we're not in that situation right now. You have to play differently accordingly. Mexico right now has a stronger squad than we have. And if you think you're going to just throw a ball in the middle and say, we're going to play our way, you play your way, it's not going to work.
I love the people out there. I love this saying. In a bad way. I love this saying about before anybody starts talking about throwing Scotland at me and all that, we're not talking about Scotland or there because they're a debacle as well. We're talking about the US here. I love the we need to have an identity. Well, your identity at the moment is you're easy to play against, you're easy to beat. Your identity should be you're flexible, you're tough, you're athletic, you're moving forward, you're on the up, got some younger players coming in, and you're adaptable. And you understand what playing international football is like. International football's not like club level. It's more of a bit of a chess match. And, you play against the better teams and the game can be really slow. And then they lull you in and then bang, bang, 3-4 passes, they're in behind, you're getting beat. It's you've got to really think.
It seems like Berhalter in particular is pandering to this supposed new way of playing.
Right.
As opposed to doing what needs to be done. Because that's what it's all about. You got to do what you got to do to get a result. Not pander to all the snobby people who think this is how you should or shouldn't play.
Right. Craig makes a great point about identity. Unfortunately, with the national team, your identity is chosen by the players that you have available. And you don't get to choose the identity, because if you don't have the
how do we compare the players now to this squad, to the squads that you've been, the squads that have been successful?
No, I think in some ways there's some similarities, in other ways there aren't. I think if you looked at...
Are they soft?
Wow. I don't know if they're soft. I just don't know if they quite have the chip on their shoulder that they had back in the day. Because look at what salaries in MLS have done. You had guys back in the day, and Stevie will attest to this, where MLS had said, "Oh, you're an American? No, we're not going to pay you."
Right.
Well, now the American kids are making some decent money in MLS. Well, before you said, well, MLS said, "Look, we're not going to pay you." Well, I said, "Well, fine. Then I'm going to let my contract run out, and I'm going to go fight for anything I can get in Europe." Well, that's part of it. Well, but so I think what needs to happen. What was the very first thing Bruce Arena said when he was interviewed, when he retook the national team job after Klinsmann was let go? The question was, what's the difference between Mexico now and when you had this success beating Mexico all the time? He said, most of Mexico's team is playing in Europe at the highest level.
Right.
That wasn't the case. Mexico always overpaid to keep their players locally. There has to be that balance between getting your best players, getting to the highest level, and also giving them this opportunity to build an MLS, which should be a great combination.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.